Well, boys and girls, after... I mean, transfer windows are a weird thing in this save, aren't they? Because we're just relying on the youngsters coming through. But we sold a big player. That's what we planned to do. We made a space for a new young player to come through. We brought in some more youngsters to top the conveyor belt up off the oh, the streak's gone. It's because I knew a cough was coming and I was trying to rush. One take Kev has failed. Well, boys and girls, transfer window is almost complete. Not as eventful as it could have been because we're only bringing young players through the academy, but we sold a first-team player, making a gap for Mendes, the European golden boy, to come straight into our first team. We've added some new young players to go in at the back of the conveyor belt as well. It's all good stuff. We've got loads of money sat around in the bank account, and I did all of that in one take. So now we go and win the Champions League. Yeah? Right, so we did do a transfer window. If you weren't here yesterday, you should have watched the LOLLUJO 2 video, then you'd know what went on. But the key thing is, we sold, what's his face, Ribeiro. I think it counted as last season. We sold Rodrigo Ribeiro to Newcastle for 42 million. He's now got quite a high value. He's quite good. But we sold him to Newcastle because we have to sell one a year just to keep the books balanced. So he's gone. We've reinvested the money from him in young players. A couple of them might actually get somewhere near the first team this year. Benitez looks like a good prospect at right back, as does France at left back. The rest of them, we'll see how they turn out. A couple of other players went for decent-ish money as well. Most notably Miguelito, who was like our third or fourth choice striker, but at 22, 23 years old. We decided it was better to make room for the youngsters. So we'll sell one big one a year, and then occasionally there'll be the guys like him who are probably going to end up quite good, but not necessarily good enough to get into our team. We sell them while they've still got value. So money-wise, we are doing well. £55 million of bank balance, 20 million still to spend, even after bringing in a few players. The problem we've got now is there's not really anyone to spend it on. We've got a week of transfer window left, and there's not really anyone I'm particularly interested in. That being said, this guy's wanted by Atalanta. He's an Ecuadorian complete wing-back. We're probably going to sign him in a minute. And we started the season quite well. Winning football matches. We lost to Porto. We don't worry about that. But more importantly, we're winning games in the league. So that is nice. When does his contract expire? This is going to be another case like with the new Michael Owen. He's out of contract on the 31st of December. His birthday's the 29th of December. I think those ones are all right. I think we can I think that's allowed. This isn't homegrown. We're allowed to be a little bit flexible with it. Maybe, I think, possibly, maybe. Should we try this guy as well? Ross, thank you very much for 5 months. This guy's already capped at Belgian under 19 level. Let's give him another scout, see if he's actually any good. We're basically keeping an eye on any players who are wanted by other clubs because I figure they're probably the ones that are most likely to be any good. Am I really going to sell a player to young boys? How are young boys able to spend that much money on a footballer? This is why we never stood a chance. Go and hang out in Wankdorf. Have a lovely time. Idiots. That is an incredible... I mean, welcome to the Champions League, boys and girls. At least we get to face the old enemy in young boys, put them in their place. But then Bayern Munich away, Arsenal, Liverpool. I don't think we're going to have a very nice European Champions League run. But we do get to play young boys this evening, so that's going to be nice. Santos doesn't want to go to young boys. Of course he doesn't. Why would he? He's heard my stories about young boys. I mean, that's a big offer. Chelsea have made a big offer for Sebastian Garcia, who we don't even play because he's 5'9" defensive midfielder who can't really play central midfield. I would argue, based on that offer, we need to start playing a 4-3-3 again. But maybe do a gegenpress version of it because we've promised we're going to do a gegenpressing system. I think we need to get a holding midfielder back in, i.e. him. If you're going to, I can promise to be strengthening the squad. No, we're not going to strengthen the squad significantly. Yeah, we need more money for you. I mean, we just sold a player for 40 million, so that's what we want. Well, 30 million then. We can try and meet in the middle. Obviously, what you've done there is not met me in the middle. 20 million would be in the middle. So I'll do exactly what you've said and meet you in the middle. You haven't. You're an idiot. These Swiss boys are silly. Both Chelsea and Liverpool want him. So I think, assuming we're going to keep him, we need to actually play him. Now we've brought the other guy back, I think we can probably let Kalantari go out on loan, although they're not going to offer enough money, so there's no point even negotiating. Lots of clubs in. Liverpool, Man City. We've got a loan offer from, is that our B team? We're just going to reject all of them. But he's attracting some interest. Did I actually buy him? I feel like I might have bought him, and all of a sudden he's attracting lots of interest. This is my first buying someone to sell on at a profit, but I haven't actually sold him on at a profit. Right, do we want to sell Murillo? Because there is a method to the madness here. It gets them out of the way of Candy and gets them more game time. So Murillo on the same basis as the other. I mean, I guess if we had one more defender, we would. Or if it was big money, we would. But actually, for 1.3 million... I think we probably need to keep him around. Is this guy... Oh, Porto now want him. Okay. It's now time to move for this guy we were already looking at. If Porto are interested all of a sudden, it's time to make an offer. So let's get my director of football to make said offer in the 5 hours we've got remaining. Porto are interested in this guy as well. So same thing. I mean, Porto could just do this with anybody now, just to throw us off the scent and just get us to spend money. But if Porto are interested in 18-year-olds, we need to jump in and get them first. I think that's going to have to be club policy. Keep an eye on what Porto are interested in. Again, there's another one there that Porto are interested in. So exactly the same theory, just all three of them. If Porto want them, so do we. I think that's a sensible strategy, just to stop Porto getting them. I mean, that's a big offer again from Manchester City now for Garcia. Newcastle really, really want this guy, but not enough to offer a sensible amount of money. Feyenoord really pushing for him as well. Right, let's get this guy in. Ask Godfroyd to endorse the move. We don't want Bowie. Right, well, we've got one of them. One of the ones that Porto wanted. Have we got time to do any more? We got that one wrapped up in 2 hours. That was a quick deal. All right, Chardonnay Dongala, who's a Belgian under-19 international, who's also got DR Congo as a second nationality. 3-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. So already as good as Carapito and Gayao, almost as good as Thomas and Mendes. He'll do. He will do. And most, like I say, very importantly, Porto wanted him. And we've got him. Or at least Porto made out they wanted him. Right, so we didn't get this guy, Puntervold. His asking price is too high. I'll be the judge of that. What did we offer? 3.9. Well, that's exactly what they want. So let's just do it. And then we don't want this guy because he's too old. Man City are now in for Garcia. Again, get out of here. Newcastle are in again. Feyenoord are in again. It's the same offers over and over again for these players. Right, this is the midfielder, the Norwegian midfielder, isn't it? So let's get him. I mean, he is very unscouted. So it's a big risk spending this kind of money on him without knowing if he's going to be any good. He could be anywhere in the... what's his range? It's a risk, but... we've got money. Let's just risk the money. What's the worst that could happen? There you go. He's in. He is in. Garcia's not in. Or is still in. You know what? That is as good as we could have hoped for. With absolutely no scouting. He's got 4.5-star potential. That'll do. Musa Punterwald. Central midfielder, 6 foot tall. Decent physicals. Could do with hitting the weights a little bit. We spent 24 million. We brought 21 million in. That doesn't tell the whole story, though. We actually sold a player for 42 million early in the summer as well. So we actually brought in like 60 odd million and spent 24. So massive transfer profit for us this summer. 64 million in the bank. You can see there how big the transfer profit was, and still some spensies left for when it comes around to January and potentially even next gen time. That'll do. I can live with that. Get to go and boo young boys in real life next weekend. Very excited. I love the fact that when we booked the Geneva trip, it was right at the start of managing Servette, and we didn't have this massive rival with young boys that we developed. But we booked Servette versus young boys as the match. So excited that I get to go and see my boys against young boys. Oh, yeah. If you haven't seen today's non-league legend yet, it's not really a spoiler, but Juventus have some financial issues. Problematic. Or if you're Scottish, apparently they call it diluting juice or something, because they're mad up there. Stavros, thank you very much for 7 months. Surely water's the diluting juice. Exactly. Oh, this is very satisfying. Are we allowed to bully young boys? It's absolutely encouraged. They are scum. We hate young boys. They're probably my most disliked team in FM23. And we are 5-0 up in the first half. And I'm having a wonderful time. Oh, get my Servette shirt out. This is glorious. We are the best football team in Europe right now. And young boys should not be in the Champions League. They are pathetic. Hey! Come on, let's have another one. Shoot! Hey! It's 7! Oh, you can't buy the European FA, you scum! This is for our stolen league titles. This is for the corrupt Swiss FA. Balls to the lot of you. We want 8. Come on! Oh, this is the greatest time in history. What a wonderful thing. Sporting 8, young boys 0, and there's still half an hour to go. Football o'clock. It was 8 versus young boys. Yes. Yes, it was. We've not abandoned the Gegenpress, Topher. No, we're playing a 4-3-3 Gegenpress. So we're still doing the Gegenpress because the board and the fans wanted a high-tempo pressing game. But we've changed it back to a 4-3-3 because we've got so many good defensive midfielders that we've got to play them. Can we do a goal, please? Why are we just letting this guy run past us? Oh, for goodness sake. For goodness sake. What has happened here? What a pickle. Now we need a big moment from Sammy, or we're going to take a defeat in the league. European hangover. We know it's a real thing. They've done a Cambridge over here, look. They got the flare out before the goal's even gone in, which is a bit overexcited. Now they're allowed the flare. Well, they're still not allowed the flare. No one's ever allowed a flare. The fact it's referred to as doing a Cambridge. It is doing a Cambridge. Setting off a flare for no reason is forever known as doing a Cambridge. That was the one good thing that came out of going to Milton Keynes. If we're giving away another penalty here, what is happening? Well, That game's turned on its head in 5 minutes with 2 penalties. It's not like I'm going to be hanging out with the ultras. It's not like I'm going to be going into pubs or anything. I'll be fine. And I'm adorable. No one's going to want to hurt me. Well, away against Bayern Munich then. Who are playing Delict in midfield. Mark themselves out as hooligans so people know who to target. We're winning against Bayern Munich! I absolutely can cook lasagna properly. The key to a good lasagna is using proper mature cheddar cheese in it. None of this foreign cheese. Proper mature cheddar. Because then when the lasagna goes cold, which is the best time to eat it, when the lasagna goes cold, the cheese really hardens up and you basically get a nice thick cheese crust on it. It's glorious. No Italian could make a lasagna on that level. Decent noodles. No, because I'm not a weird American. So I don't call pasta noodles. It's not noodles. And certainly, even if like spaghetti was a noodle, which there's probably an argument you could make that spaghetti is a noodle, you're certainly not going to have a noodle in a lasagna. You'll have lasagna sheets. Sheets of lasagna. No noodles to be seen. Noodles. That is one of the things that upsets me the most watching American TV shows and movies, when they describe pasta as noodles. Right. I know we're beating Bayern Munich, but this is more important. Noodle. They are noodles. Noodles, noodles, noodles. Lasagna sheets. Lasagna sheets. They're completely different. We have lasagna, not a noodle. Just a flat piece of pasta. If anyone knows pasta, it's the British. Noodles are what you get at the Chinese restaurant or your Chinese takeaway. We're 2-0 up against Bayern Munich. Noodles do not go in pasta. Bump parts to hold on the ricotta. Get your dirty ricotta away from my lasagna. Cheddar. Cheddar. What meat am I using? If I'm just doing a normal lasagna beef, if I'm doing a fancy lasagna, I might do a beef and pork split. Pizza's better cold as well. I mean, forget wearing a half and half shirt. I'm going to go to Italy wearing a shirt that just says all your food tastes better cold. Because it does. Every restaurant we go to in Italy, I'm just going to say, right, I'm ordering now, but I'm going to be back in 3 hours. What I order, can you put in the fridge for the next 3 hours for me? I want to eat it fridge cold. Because that's when your food tastes best. I mean, I'm not a fan of pineapple on a pizza. However, if I am going to have pineapple on a pizza, it has to be on cold pizza. Because pineapple, no fruit should be eaten hot. Unless it's in a pie. And another thing, America, I'm coming for you again. A pizza is not a pie. Ravioli cold. Ravioli is at its best straight out of the tin. Because obviously the only time anyone eats ravioli is tinned. Just to open the tin, just eat it straight out of the tin, like you do baked beans. I ain't warming that stuff up. If it comes out of a tin, I'm not warming it up. It's already cooked when they put it in the tin. They're not putting raw food in the tins to eat it out of the tin. I have cold baked beans on salads. We eat my Frey Bentos cold too then. I don't. I cook that because the pastry's not cooked there, is it? Sausage sandwich better hot or cold? Hot, obviously, because you want the sausage to melt the butter. Same as bacon sandwiches. Really? I mean, I know the internet goes crazy for bacon, but really bacon is just a hot thing to put on butter in a soft bread sandwich. It doesn't really matter what that hot thing is, because the most delicious thing about a bacon sandwich or a sausage sandwich is the butter melting into the soft bread. So it doesn't even need to be bacon or sausage. It could be like a hot pepperami. It could be just, I don't know. You could cook a carrot really hot and then put it in a sandwich with enough butter and it's going to be delicious. Right, we are away against Bayer Leverkusen now. So we've already won 2 games in the Champions League this year. Can we make it a third? We went away to Bayern Munich and won. We should be able to beat Leverkusen, surely. Yeah, I had to have morphine on the way back from Wales when I had my big gallstone attack. They gave me morphine, and it was horrible. I only had it a couple of times. I had it then, and I had it years ago when I had bad kidney stone pain. I had it a couple of times. Just horrible. Hate it. That is not a penalty. Referee, that is not a penalty. That was outside of the penalty area. Therefore, not a penalty. Got to be very clear about that, referee. In order for it to be a penalty, it would have to be in the penalty area, and that wasn't. For goodness sake, referee. Just to clarify. Here we go. All not in penalty area. How is that a penalty? Hideous. We've been wronged again. This is like Young Boys all over again. Topher, calm down. Stop threatening to ban people. My word. Someone go and tickle Topher. Give him a cuddle or something. Get him a Marmite and lettuce sandwich to calm him down. Go stand on your bag. For years, it wasn't really a thing. I mean, they were around, but no one had them turned on because they didn't really pay creators. But it's the last 6 months or so, creators actually get fairly compensated for the ads, so we all turn them on. And I know when I used to play multi-table tournaments on PokerStars, and I assume this was the same on most poker sites, but you would get a 5-minute break every hour. So at 55 minutes past the hour, every hour, all tournaments would go on a 5-minute break at the same time. So I would argue implementing something like that on Twitch, I'm not quite sure how you would do it. If the whole of Twitch went on a 5-minute break once an hour, at which point adverts played. Benfica. Because I say it properly when I'm doing YouTube videos. When I'm on Twitch, I deliberately say things wrong half of the time. Just because it amuses me when I'm sat here for 3 or 4 hours streaming. If it turns out Benfica is the correct way to say it, then I'm done. I'm just done. Give me more cheese on my pasta that is not noodles and let me eat it cold, and stop trying to teach me things from other countries. It confuses me. I'm old. Don't you want a bunch of YouTube comments about how you're saying it wrong? Yeah, there's a fine line on YouTube. The YouTube audience is a sensitive beast. So you have to get that balance. There's a section of them who are still very upset that I'm saying anal in every video at the moment. I mean, there's been a couple who are relatively long-term viewers whose names I recognised who really outed themselves as quite unpleasant with 1 or 2 things that have been said. Oh, what a move that was. Boys and girls, allow me to just distract you from whatever discussions you're currently having in the chat, get you to look up from your own Football Manager game. You need to look at this goal. This was sensational. Oh, oh, what a goal. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I mean, we like to do a football. We're going again, look. We're going again. I mean, it took a deflection, so it wasn't quite as good. But we are mastering these little diagonal one-touch through balls. I've just seen the time, boys and girls. We'll continue this conversation tomorrow. Now, let's find somebody to raid. I need to go and refill my juice. Oh, look, Not Noodles on my screen. Hello, Not Noodles.